Alright, so I'm gonna knock out a couple of requests here. I had a request to detach a toadstool from, a piece of base rock. And that's that guy right there. It's just a small toadstool. What we'll do with that is actually I'm not going to try to cut the flesh on that one. It's, pretty rigid rock, so I think I can just kind of cut around the base, get some rubble, and then, the biggest part with having rubble where it's actually attached to the coral is, being able to glue that to another, bigger piece of rock in the display or something like that. And then to the right here, I've just got some zoos. I'm going to cut some of those up. I'm going to show you how to, cut the flesh directly at the base, and then we'll take a couple of frags off of it and put them on mounts. So, get started here. Some of the stuff here you guys have seen already. I got some of the Gorilla Glue. Like using that to, attach everything to mounts. I'm gonna grab my bone cutter real quick. Bone cutters here are actually my tool of choice for doing a lot of fragging. I find that you can get away with a lot of different types of coral with just this one tool here. So basically, I'll take this guy. I don't know if you can see where he's actually attached here. Rock, as I said, is pretty porous. You can see a little bit. So I'll just start cutting on that, just like this. As always, it's just a bowl of the water out of the display tank. Like doing anything like this in the display tank, it can make a mess. One thing you'll notice when you do a lot of corals, a lot of soft corals and stuff, is they actually stink. You have them out of the water. Xenocoral is one of the biggest. So you guys that have that stuff will notice when you take it out of the bags that it's got a pretty offensive odor to it. So there's the toadstool right there. You can see it's still got the rubble on it, so we can just put a little bit of glue on here and attach it to any rock we want to. That's that. Pretty easy stuff. Here's some of the zoanthids here. A lot of you guys are wondering, what's the easiest way. For the most part, you can see where some of them are just barely attached to a piece of rock. You can actually get onto them with just a little pair of tweezers and just pull the base right off. This one might not be a good candidate to do, but I'll give it a try, see if I can get one off. That one's not going to come. I have to excuse my hands. They shake a little bit. Yeah, this one's actually pretty loose here, so we can grab it with the tweezers and just pluck it right off of there. Not any damage done to the polyp. You can see it came off right at the base here. And we'll put that on a mount, separate it. I always try to go with the preferred way, and the preferred way is just cutting the actual piece of rock that the coral's growing on. That way you don't have to wait for things to attach, and it's minimal risk for infection and whatnot. So you try to look for a good spot to actually cut. And on this, they've kind of matted all the way around the rock, so there's not a good spot. I'll just try to cut where there's not an actual polyp to cut in half. Decent snip. You can see, like this guy right here, there's one main string attached, both rocks, otherwise it's free. So what I'll do is drop my scissors on the floor. Now, just take the scissors and cut this little piece of tissue right here. Just like that. One more way with these, which I really don't like doing. There's not exactly anything wrong with it. It's just harder to get them to attach. Let me make sure you guys can see this actual. There's a polyp right here. It's pretty long and it's somewhat free, so what we'll do is we'll take and we'll cut that off at the base. Best way I could kind of relate that would be like cutting a flower. And it's pretty simple, but we'll try to get in here with a blade and just give it a nice little snip. If you guys can see that, I don't have anybody videotaping, so I've got this camera on a tripod. That's a pretty clean cut. So we can just take the tweezers and maybe get them to pull off. I didn't go through all the way. Just barely hanging on here. Sometimes gotta play for a minute to get it to actually come off. Okay, there it went. Alright, so that's basic 3 ways for fragging up, you know, zoos. And basically just got a little mount here. Just put a dab of glue on it. Small dab. I mean, it really doesn't take much, and they'll start growing and encrusting over the plate. The mount. Just take that little guy. And right there in the glue. Just a little dab of glue there. And just put it in the water. Whenever you dip super glue in the water, it gives it a little quick cure. So I mean, that's fixed. It's not going to go anywhere. And that is really going to wrap it up for this video. Those are the couple of basic things I wanted to get out of the way. As always, if you guys got questions, feel free to ask.